Barbenheimer has been a cultural phenomenon now for months, and it's really ramped up here these last few weeks. I decided to go see these movies back to back. I saw Oppenheimer first, then I saw Barbie. Since both of these movies have been linked together for so long, I thought what better way to review these movies than together. Cillian Murphy gives a fantastic performance. Everyone in this movie does. In my opinion, Oppenheimer is an acting masterclass. I mean, every actor and actress just crushes it in this movie. I mean, there's so many actors, like Rami Malek is in this movie for just a handful of scenes, but he steals the scenes that he's in. And no matter how small the part is, every actor brings it their all. Florence Pugh is not in this movie that much, but she's very memorable. And it just goes to show how Christopher Nolan brings the best out of every performer. Going into this movie, I knew that Cillian Murphy would give a great career-defining performance. You could just tell that from the trailers, and Cillian delivers. But the performance that really impressed me was Robert Downey Jr.'s. I mean, for the last decade plus, Robert Downey Jr. has been known solely as Iron Man. Yes, he's done other movies in between then, but he's just been so linked to Tony Stark that it's hard to separate the two. After about the first minute or so of Robert Downey Jr. being on screen, I ceased to see him as Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man, and I saw him as Robert Downey Jr. the actor. He's one of the greatest actors of our generation, and he proves it in this movie. I'm so glad that he has this moment to shine, because he hasn't been in a movie since Doolittle, and he hasn't been in a critical and commercial hit since Endgame back in 2019. This will be the part that wins him the Oscar. Emily Blunt's performance will not be talked about as much, but it is equally as impressive. She's not in the movie as much as Cillian Murphy or Robert Downey Jr., but she's in the movie a lot. And it's a very hard role to play because her character, well, the person she's playing, struggled with alcoholism. So pretty much every scene she's in, she's drunk or overly emotional, or it's just, she plays it so well because it could be a very unlikable character, but she plays it perfectly. I love how Nolan structured this movie. I like how it's not just a linear story. I mean, there's multiple timelines, which is something Nolan loves to do, but it's not done for the sake of just doing it. There's a reason behind it. And scenes at the beginning of the movie you'll see later on in the film and are recontextualized, and you see them from a different perspective. I love how he uses perspective in this movie. You know, most of the movie is in color, but a lot of it is in black and white. The black and white segments are objective. The color segments are subjective, and we see it from Oppenheimer's POV. I love how Nolan contrasts the subjective and the objective scenes. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. This is a very fast-moving biopic. I mean, it's 3 hours long. You do feel the length, but it feels fast at the same time, which I know probably doesn't make sense, but if you see the movie, you'll see what I'm talking about. You do feel the length. It does feel like a 3-hour movie, but I was never bored. It's so interesting. Christopher Nolan himself has said that Oppenheimer is a horror movie of sorts, and I would agree. This is one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. I don't get scared at slasher films or supernatural horror films because it's just so abstract. This is a real threat. Nuclear Armageddon is a real possibility, and it has been for a long time. It's just we're so used to it now. This isn't a spoiler because it's in the trailer, and of course it's Oppenheimer, so you would expect this, but the bomb test, when you see it in the movie, is mesmerizing. Nolan makes the bomb feel grand. It makes it feel threatening. It makes it feel majestic at the same time. The use of sound in this movie really impressed me. You can't separate the sounds in the movie from the soundtrack. They're one and the same. And it's that fusion that really makes a lot of these segments work, like the nuclear bomb test. And you see Oppenheimer's brain, and you see how he sees the world. And there's a lot of lucid sequences, and the use of sound in those sequences, it's something I never heard before in a movie. It's amazing. What I love about Christopher Nolan is that his films are full of subtlety. There's nuance. It doesn't just outright tell you how to feel about a particular situation. Yes, the movie has a perspective, but it's not beating you over the head with a message constantly. It allows you room to decide for yourself, how do you feel about this character? How do you feel about a situation? And I think that's part of Nolan's genius, is the moral ambiguity of this movie. It's very adult in that way, and it's great storytelling. He shows, he doesn't tell. And I wish more filmmakers would do that. I mean, don't lecture me, just show me. And through showing me, I'll be able to form my opinion. And that's what he does. He's a brilliant filmmaker. Now it's time for me to review Barbie. Barbie is the weirdest blockbuster I have ever seen. Barbie is a brand for young girls, but this movie isn't really for young girls. The humor of this movie will go over kids' heads. I mean, they won't get most of the jokes here. I was laughing really hard at this movie at times, and most of that can be attributed to Ryan Gosling. It's funny to me how this movie is for women, and it's about female empowerment, and it's a feminist film, but the standout is a man. It's Ryan Gosling as Ken. Ken steals the show. He steals every scene he is in. He sings in the movie, he dances, his comedic timing is perfect. Although Ryan Gosling steals the movie for me, Margot Robbie is perfect. No one else could have played this part. She looks, acts, feels like Barbie. Stereotypical Barbie, as they say in the movie. And I was moved by her performance at times. As goofy as this movie is, she gives a moving performance. Barbie is fun. It's full of very creative gags. Not all of the jokes in the movie land, but when they do, they really land. Barbie has a fantastic soundtrack. I love the music. My biggest problem with Barbie is that it feels thematically muddled. Barbie is saying so much as a movie that it kind of feels all over the place at times. See, this is what Oppenheimer did better. Oppenheimer would show, not tell. Barbie would tell and not show. And to me, that's much, much worse. There's no subtlety here. It's very upfront with what it believes and how it believes it. The movie addresses feminism and its relationship to the patriarchy. And it talks about finding yourself. And it's about so many things at once. It's also anti-Barbie and pro-Barbie at the same time. It wants to critique the legacy of Barbie and what Barbie represents, but it also wants to celebrate Barbie. So by the end of the movie, without spoilers, I don't know what it wants me to take away. It's like, does it want me to love Barbie as an idea and as a brand, or does it want me to criticize it? Growing up, I knew lots of girls who loved Barbie, and today as young women, they still love Barbie. They watch the animated Barbie movies. Barbie is a part of so many girls' childhoods. They love it. And there's so many different types of Barbies now. I mean, Barbies come in different sizes and shapes, and there's Barbies with disabilities, Barbies of different races. Even the Kens, there's so many different Kens, and it's just this world where anyone can be anything. I don't understand how Barbie is a negative in 2023 because the brand has adjusted. I feel like the movie is criticizing what the brand used to be. So therefore, I don't understand what it's criticizing now. But that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I am a guy. I didn't grow up with Barbies. I'm not well versed in Barbie lore. I feel like the movie's trying to say that it's okay to criticize something that we love, but that point isn't driven home enough. Barbie works as a fun and entertaining movie. It will definitely empower certain people. But at the same time, I feel like there's a large group that this movie won't work for. And it's not due to the messages, but how it fails to fully deliver on its messages. Barbie is part toy commercial, part pro-Barbie, part anti-Barbie. Ultimately, I'm left wondering, who is this for? The older audience may find this movie to be too silly. So ultimately, it's like, I guess this is for the teenage crowd, the young adult crowd. I enjoy the humor. This movie worked for me because of the humor. I found it very funny. I'm not going to score these movies, but if I had to put them in categories, I would say Oppenheimer is a great movie. It's a masterpiece. But Barbie, on the other hand, it falls short of greatness because of its unwillingness to focus on its themes, and also it's a little too long. I would say Barbie is good fun. It's not a great movie, but it's good fun. But the better movie is Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer will probably win the most awards of the two. But I had a blast. I say the best order of watching these movies is Oppenheimer first, followed by Barbie. And I had a blast doing this. I saw it with a friend of mine. We enjoyed both so much. And I've never done anything like this before. I've never done a double feature in a theater before. I'll definitely do it again, but nothing will ever come close to this experience. It was just truly, truly special. If you just don't overthink it and don't overanalyze the movies, which I believe you should, but just in the moment, you will have a great time if you just sit back, watch the movies, let them wash over you. Then later on, analyze and critique them. Just think about it some more. But in the moment, this was a fantastic experience, and I'm glad I participated in this Barbenheimer phenomenon. Thank you for watching. I've never done a video like this before. I really enjoyed talking about these movies. I'll be back next week, and I'm going to review Haunted Mansion, which isn't predicted to do too well, but I want to go see it and review it. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I hope you have a great day.